Okay, we are already live on YouTube,
Okay.
and I think that we can start with the questions. Just let me see. Okay, Caio. The first question for us is, what's one small habit that already makes your life better, and how can you protect it this year? Do you have an habit that you feel that makes your life better?
Ah, pode começar?
Yes.
Ok. On small habit that already improves my life is studying a few cat minutes in the morning before checking my phone.
That's nice. That's an habit that I have too, because I always feel that if I take my phone really early in the morning when I wake up, I feel that I have a lot of information and sometimes I feel stressed about it. Why did you feel that you need to develop this habit? And how do you deal now with it?
Ahn, não entendi.
Okay. Uh, I think that we can try English and Portuguese, that's fine, okay?
Ok.
I was asking if why did you develop this habit? Por que que você desenvolveu esse hábito?
Ah, por conta que eu acho que isso melhora um pouco, por conta que o celular hoje em dia está sendo muito usado, né? E faz muito mal isso pra gente, então eu acho que isso melhora mesmo na nossa vida mesmo. Tipo, porque o celular tá fazendo muito mal hoje em dia pra gente.
Yeah, I agree. Uh, and how do you feel about protecting this habit in this year? Como você pretende continuar com esse hábito esse ano?
Ahn, esse, esse ano não vai dar mais, né? Porque nem celular eu tenho mais. Então já melhora, né?
Okay, so but something happened that you don't have a phone anymore?
Ah, um pouco, por conta que isso faz mal, né? Como eu já falei, mas eu também queria ter um pouquinho de celular, tipo, de
Yeah.
tarde.
Okay, I think that for me, Kyle, habits that I feel that make my life better is to take some time to read a little bit every day. That was something that I felt that I wasn't doing last year, and I really enjoy reading. I feel that my mind is slowed down, when I am reading a book. And and last year I didn't do that much in the rest of the year. So this year I want to go back reading a little bit more and try to put a little time every single day to read a little bit, like 15, 30 minutes. I think that this is something that I want to maintain for this year. Okay, I think that we can go to the next question. What does progress look like to you when there is no measurable result? What do you think about this question?
Ah, when serious, no measurable result. Progress look like showing up with more patient awareness or honest than before. And you, sir?
Okay. You called me sir. I'm feeling really old. That's fine. I think that for me, I feel that progress to me feels like something that I am doing and that I am improving by little steps, you know. I used to think that progress it was something that I just do something once and then it wasn't necessary to do it again, you know. I used to feel that I needed immediate results about things. And sometimes I think that nowadays it's something that most of people feel that we need to have immediate results on what we do. But I think that now I believe that progress is how can I improve a little bit every day or every week or every year. So, of course, it can be something that I can measure. Like, for example, I said that I want to read a little bit every day, right? So, for me now, uh, I have a measurable thing to do this. For example, I want to read at least 15 minutes per day. So that's how I can measure this goal, you know, reading every day. Okay. Would you like to add something?
Um, yeah.
Go on.
Three? Hello?
I asked you if you would like to add something. Se você gostaria de acrescentar algo, or
Uh,
we can move to the next question.
no, no.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. Next question is, how can you set a goal without turning it into a source of guilt or stress? How do you feel?
Um, I can set goals, invitations, rather than ultimatums that means leaving room for ad, ad, adjustment, rest, and learn along the way.
Okay. Um, and do you ever experience this feeling of guilt or stress when when you want to do something and you are not able to?
Entendi.
Quer que eu fale em português? Ok. Eu perguntei se alguma vez você já sentiu essa culpa ou estresse quando você coloca alguma meta para alcançar e não consegue.
Ah, yes, yes. In school.
And, and how was the situation? Como foi essa situação?
Ah, eu queria tirar uma nota boa e eu não consegui muito bem, entendeu?
It was an specific subject that you wanted to have a good grade.
Ah, em português.
Oh, okay,
Parça.
that's fair. Yeah, Portuguese can be really hard. I used to be a English and Portuguese teacher, and all the classes that I find it harder to give, it was all Portuguese because Portuguese can be really tricky sometimes. Um, for me, Caio, I nowadays I develop a little strategy to not feel guilty or stressed when I set a goal. And now I put little steps and numbers that I want to achieve with that. For example, another goal that I have is to exercise at least 4 days a week. And that's a fair number, to go to the gym, to go running, to do something like this. And sometimes I do more days, and sometimes I just do 3. And then I try to look to the I forgot how to say measure in English, but I believe that it can be medium, something like this. Um, and I and I and I put these little goals, to understand how far can I go. If I Because if I put, for example, I want to go to the gym every single day, that's something that I probably won't do because I have another things happening in my life, and that can be harder to achieve. So I put a number that I can achieve, and then I measure after if that's something that is possible to maintain or to do more, for example. Okay. I think that we can go to the next question. Would you like to read it for us?
Question?
Yes. Se você
Não.
quer ler a próxima pergunta.
Tá. Deixa eu só pegar a próxima pergunta aqui, então. Foi bom. For, né?
Yes, question number 4.
What would happen if you focused on consistency instead of intensity?
I think that for me, consistency is more important than intensity, because that for me that's when something becomes a habit, when you are consistent to do something, when you are able to do something like every single day, for example, like the hour that you wake up and how is your routine. I think that for me consistency is more important, because as I was saying, if you put something that is too much for you in your daily life, it can be harder to achieve. So I think that consistency leads us to better results, for example. And what do you think about this question?
Um, If I focused on consistency in instead of intense, I'd probably probably go further with less burnout. Tipo, se eu focasse em consistência em vez de intensidade, provavelmente irá mais longe, sabe?
Yes, yes, I agree. And do you have a habit that you are focusing right now with consistency? Você tem algum hábito que você está cultivando agora com consistência?
A, a Academy é, futebol and study.
That's
Right?
great. So you like playing football.
Yeah, there.
That's nice. How many days in the week do you practice?
Hã?
Quantos dias na semana você pratica futebol?
Ah, three days.
Oh, that's good. You can you can be really good. Okay, Kyle, I think that we can go to the next question. Next question is, when have you given up on something too fast just because you have expected immediate change? Is that something that you gave up fast? How it was? What was the situation?
Um, I've given up too quickly in moments when I confused discomfort with lyro.
Okay. And do you have any specific situation that you gave up?
Ah, em, em futebol, em play, na partida. Ahn, acho que é esse que eu já que eu já desisti rápido assim, que a gente tava perdendo de muito, né? Aí não tinha nem o que fazer.
Okay, yeah, that's fair, that's fair. But it was your team playing the game?
Ah, game?
Yeah, era o seu time jogando?
Sim, sim.
And then all of the team gave up.
É.
Okay. I think that's something that I gave up too fast. Let me think a little bit. Um, I think that career transitioning for me because I wanted to work with another thing, and then I did a course to work with this thing, and I wasn't able to get a job immediately at this other field. And then I felt frustrated about it, and then I gave up on this. I continually working with education, for example. I used to be a teacher, and now I'm still working with education, but in another field. And but these other fields that I did this course and that I wanted to work, that's something that is still on the back of my mind. It's probably something that I want to do later, that I want to develop some skills. And yeah, I think that this is something that I can remember right now. This situation that I gave up.
Ok.
Okay. Next question, Caio. What part of yourself needs care more than achievement in this year?
Uh, the part the party of me that needs carries my emotional and mental well-being.
Yeah, that's important. And how do you plan to take care of your emotional and mental health this year?
Um, acho que pro Você está perguntando para que parte que eu preciso disso?
Ah, como você está pensando em cuidar esse ano da sua saúde mental, emocional? O que que você pensa em fazer?
Acho que relaxar um pouco, não se estressar tanto com jogos, essas coisas, que eu acho que fica tudo de boa.
Yes, that's important because I feel that we can be stressed really easily nowadays. And even for you, for example, that you are really young, um, when we are very young, we can be easily affected with a lot of different things. So it's important to take care of your mental and emotional health. I think that for me, something that needs care more than achievement this year is my relationships, something that that I set a goal for this year, for example, is that I want to talk more to my friends because I stay too long without seeing them. My friends are all in a lot of different places, so it can be a little bit difficult for me to see them. And something that I want to do is to take care more of my friendships and the relationships that I have because it's important for me. And also, I want to take care of my mental health too, like you, because in the past, I used to be stressed really easily, and that's not something that I want to happen. Okay, sometimes we can be stressed, we can be angry about something, but something that I learned from me, for example, is that I need to understand what I am feeling and how am I reacting to the situations. So I want to take care of this part of my life also in this year. Okay. Uh, would you like to read the next question for us?
Ah, pode ser. Eu ler, né? É a
Yes,
sétima. Seven, né?
yes. Question number 7.
What goal could you set that feels more like curiosity than obligation?
Mm, I have, I think that this can be about my hobbies. Um, I like embroidery and I like aquarella painting. So this is something that I do without any obligation, uh, because that's something that helps me to relax and and I am curious to develop different skills on these hobbies, for example. But that's something that I don't force myself to do it because I don't want my hobbies to become an obligation. So I always look to them with a lot of curiosity on how can I do something different. And how do you feel about this question?
I think uh, I could learn English with is something I really want to do.
Yeah, that's nice. And how can you do this besides being here, for example? How
Ah,
can you learn English with something, with another thing that you like, for example?
gosto de inglês. Eu não entendi muito bem.
Eu perguntei que outras coisas você pode fazer para continuar praticando inglês em outros lugares além daqui.
Ah, ah, em Disney, que eu vou, a Disney, lá nos Estados Unidos. E eu também tenho. Acho que a maior parte que eu vou aprender talvez seja aqui e lá na Disney, né? Que lá só em conversa em inglês. Então, acho que lá vai ser a parte que eu mais vou aprender inglês, né? Convivendo assim.
Yes, and that's really important, and I think that it can be a really different experience because you will be talking to uh, native, yeah. It can be really different from the experience here, for example. Every time that I talk to a native English person, a native speaker person, I always feel the difference, because sometimes they can talk a little bit faster and we can understand and we don't understand sometimes, or they have a strong accent and we don't understand either. But it's a really good situation that you'll be. And when are you going to Disney? Quando que você vai?
Ah, em Monte que fala? Monte? 8, mês 8.
Oh, okay, August then,
Yeah.
right? That's nice. Right after vacation,
What? Repeat?
right after vacation here in Brazil,
Ra-
logo depois das férias.
Yeah. Yeah, logo depois das férias.
It can be a little vacation too, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Desculpa.
Oh, okay. Let me see the next question here. If your ideal year wasn't about productivity, what would it be about?
Uh, if me ideal years was not about productivity, it would be about presence, connections, and meanings. Entende?
Yes, I get it. Um, what do you mean? Um, I agree. I think that it is important to feel present in everything that you are living, and it can be harder sometimes because we have a lot of distractions right now on the internet. For example, we can be distracted by a lot of different things. So I think that you said something that it's really important. Um, I think that for me, my ideal year would be about traveling a lot, going to a lot of different beaches because I love going to the beach and I love traveling. So, yes, if I didn't have a work and I have a lot of money that I could spend on traveling, I would travel a lot more than I do. And and also I would say that it was being about being present because that's something that I am trying to develop better. You know, being present in every situation and listening to the other people. And yeah, I think that for me was this. Um, would you like to read the next question for us?
Ah, pode ser. É a 9?
Yes, question number 9.
What intention could you carry into 2026? Even if you don't know how it will grow.
I I think that for me, an intention that I want to carry for this year, it would be to stay more positive. I think that sometimes I can get really negative about things and really stressed about things. So I think that one intention that I want to carry for this year is to be more positive. And also because I believe that this can impact my mental health, you know, not to be complaining all the time. That's not good. It's not good to be around someone that complains a lot. So that's something that I want to carry for this year. And I don't know how necessarily this change can lead me because it's something that it can be really subjective about it because it's not necessarily something that I can measure with numbers, for example, but that's something that I want to pay attention this year. And how about you?
Uh, it's going to be a really good year for mm, me because of travel and games, uh, which are things I really enjoy. The beach and games.
That's nice. And besides football, what do you like to play more?
Um, Fortnite and o acho que só Fortnite mesmo. Melhor, sim. The best.
That's nice. I never play it. I'm not a. I don't play a lot of video games
Hmm.
because I don't have patience for it, you know. Every time that I'm playing something and then I start to lose, I feel stressed and then I just stop.
Hmm.
Okay. And the final question, Kyle, how do you track your goals?
Mm, I track my goals through reflection rather than constant measurement. Journaling, really check-ins, and honest self-assessments help me notify patterns and ad- adjustments.
Okay, that's a good strategy. So you like to write down to follow your goals, right?
Yeah.
That's nice. That's something that I do also. I really like to write everything because I think that for me it's easier to follow and to know what I am, you know. So I have a lot of different notebooks here in my house, for example, that I use for a lot of different things. One specifically is for my goals this year, for example, and then there I put the numbers and how I can track my habits and my goals and what I want to do. And I have others for work or to write about, or it can be like a diary, for example, you know, to write about my emotions, how I was feeling in the day, in a specific moment. And that's something that works for me to track my goals, to have everything on paper. Okay, Caio, we finished the questions, and I want to know now from you, what is your main goal for this year?
Mango?
Main goal. Qual é o seu objetivo principal para esse ano?
Ah, eu acho que é passar de ano, né? Aprender inglês. E acho que vencer campeonato. Acho que vencer campeonato e ganhar dinheiro, né? Todo mundo quer ganhar dinheiro.
And how do you plan on making money, for example?
Um, work and Twitch. Well, my brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Um, that's nice. And in what grade do, uh, do you are? Em que série você tá? Em que ano?
Ah, tô no sétimo.
Oh, that's nice. Um, I think that for me this year, Caio, I really want um, to work for a foreign company. That's like my main goal, what I really want. But that's something that it can happen this year, but it depends a lot of different things, you know. It doesn't depend only on me and my skills, for example, but that's something that I want to do to have more money, have a more comfortable life. Yeah, I think that for me, that's it. Okay, Caio. And how was the conversation for you?
Eu achei?
Yes,
I like. I like. Porque já tento melhorar meu inglês, né? Então, não gostei.
that's nice. I always say to people that this is a really good place to learn because we can interact with different people and talk about different subjects. So it's really nice how we can exercise our English in different topics, you know. Sometimes it can be a little bit harder. Sometimes we don't have enough vocabulary for the discussion, and that's fine because here we are all students, we are all learning. And I hope that you enjoy this community. Everyone is really nice to the others. And that's it.